Park. It's Madame Harel here. Um, I thought I would take a minute in English for my friends and family at home who might not understand to explain our spring book festival that we're having here at Council Park and some of the awesome things that are happening over the next month. Um, so I'm going to start out with our K to 4 one, and then I'll go to the 5 to 8 after, just to show you a quick couple of just different books that I showed you. And before I start anything, I just want to show you that in your Google Classroom, so I have put it here, but then if you have a Google Classroom here at Council Park, it has been added to yours as well. There's a little post and it talks to you about the book festival. So I'm actually going to go through the slides for the K to 4 and just explain a little bit. Um, and you may have seen this from your teacher, so I'll keep it short. And I also would just like to, speak to a couple of points. And also, at the end, I just wanted to again draw your attention to the fact that we have a Google Classroom as well, and I might put that up on our website so that you can access some of these things as well. So I don't know if it's going to let me go full screen while I'm recording, so I'm just going to go through very quickly. So we have 4 big events that are happening: Book Swap, Readathon, Virtual Book Fair, and the Forest of Reading. And there's actually a few others, but we'll keep it at that for now. So the Book Swap is today's the last day. But if you missed it, one thing we could easily do is a big kid book swap for maybe grades 4 to 8. So a lot of the books that were generously donated by families were primary and early reader books, which makes sense because when you grow out of books, you give the books from when you were little that you don't use anymore, and those would normally be for younger kids. But big kids, if you have books, I'd be happy to run a book swap between now and the April break, like maybe the last week, 13th or 14th. We would run it in the portable because we have some really amazing STEAM centers coming up for the next 2 weeks with our Rotary teachers. So our art, science, music teachers, and phys ed will be in the library and will be bringing down your classes to do all sorts of science, tech, engineering, art, and music activities. We're going to have a rotation to keep it COVID safe and make sure that everything is clean. And I just wanted to mention to all of my Council Park friends that the same rules apply as last time. So calm voices, calm bodies, 4 friends per center, and we make sure that we are showing respect so that everybody can benefit from these centers, right? So we're putting things away properly, we're reading the instructions at each center, and we're really showing care for our shared learning common space, le nid. Okay, les amis, c'est très important. So again, we can do a big kid book swap, but it'll be in the portable outside. So there's that. So what we did, and we could do this again another time, is kids brought 1 to 5 books. We made sure our bags weren't too heavy. A lot of families brought in bins of books, which was amazing. So thank you so much for that. And then some kids are still bringing in books, and so we will sanitize those and put those aside, and we can keep them for next time, and then they can take books from this book swap. We could just keep it going, right? Especially after the break, when we are back at school, we could do one later on in the year as well. So I would like to get it done before the break, just in case you would like something to read over the break, right? Okay, so yeah, it worked really well. Basically, if you brought in 1 book or you didn't bring in a book, you could choose one. And some people, what they've done is they've chosen a book that they found that they really liked, and then they're bringing in a book the next time and donating it to the next one, which is really kind of you. And then if you brought in more, you could choose up to 5. And what we said was if you had more than that, probably that means that your family is cleaning out your book collection, and you're welcome to take more, but just check with your family because chances are they don't want you bringing home 25 books because you just cleared things out. But we'll leave that discussion up to a person by person basis. Okay, so the readathon is what I really want to talk to you guys about. We're doing things a little differently this year, okay? So in the past, we've had a competition with all of the families, and sorry, all of the classes, families, um, and it's been over the number of minutes, and we've done our thermometers, and then we've accorded prizes for each level. So I spoke with our parent council, our KP school council, which has been amazing in supporting us. So thank you so much, everyone. And we just decided we'll run things a little differently this way. And the reason is we want to make sure that there are many ways to win prizes because you guys are busy. Everybody is busy. And also, sometimes you don't have necessarily the minutes to read, but you might be reading something more challenging, or you might be reading something that challenges you. So maybe it's about finding a book that challenges some ideas that you hold or exposes you to some new ideas or experiences. Maybe you are reading a new reading level, or you're reading a more challenging vocabulary type of book, or a different genre that you've never read before. And also, we want to engage everyone from our youngest readers to our oldest readers in our schools. So there's that. And also, sometimes we at our house, we read together a lot at night. And so when you're reading for bed, we want to make that count too. So we'll talk more about that. Okay. So the more you read, what we're aiming for is K to 2. We're aiming for about 20 minutes a day, 3 to 5 about 30, 6 to 8 about 40. Okay. And ideally, this is independently, which means by yourself. However, there are exceptions, and certainly we would like to say yay to that as well. There are prizes each week, so I'm actually going to do a draw either today or we might do it Monday to give more folks a chance to join. There's some ballots, and I'm going to tell you that for the kickoff week, there are some extremely awesome prizes. And it starts with duh, and it rhymes with frogman. And for everybody out there who knows and maybe is looking forward to this new edition, Mothering Heights, I want to thank Parent Council for their donation of the two new Dogman books that are in our library. And one will be a prize for J'aime parler français, and the other one is a prize for our readathon for this week. And then we'll see after that what other awesome prizes you can have. One that I thought would be the most awesome is I have a book fair coming up, and that should give us hopefully, some credits because each purchase that you make to our book fair gives us 20% of that purchase in credits that we can spend at our school for our library. And so part of those, I thought we could order some new books for our prize winners. So that's it. Basically, you tell me the book and I will order it. Pretty cool prize, huh? It'll take a little while, but yeah, that can happen. So there are prizes each week, and then there are smaller prizes as well. So those would be $5 and $10 gift certificates to our book fair. Okay. Then each day that you read is one ballot. And I'll show you where to fill out the ballot. Actually, I'll show you right now. It is in your Google Classroom with this presentation, and it is a Google form. And we already have some friends who have filled that out. So bravo les amis. And it's right down here. And I'll show it to you real quick. All you do is you can also send me bonus ballots, by the way, or you can put them on our Flipgrid page. So I'll show you that as well. And it might be tricky to get you into your Flipgrid. You need your teachers to add you to that, so we can talk about that as well. Okay, because Flipgrid is funny sometimes and it's very secure, which is nice. Okay, so this is your readathon ballot. You can fill out one ballot per day, and you can complete up to 3 bonus ballot activities per day. Okay, so if you have some extra time and you want to catch up one day, one week, you can do that. Okay, up to 3. Remember that there are weekly prizes in both a random draw and for the most minutes read for each level. So the primary class that has the most minutes read, the junior class, and the intermediate. Okay, and we'll do a weekly draw each week, and then we'll also do a grand prize draws at the end. How about that? Okay, so all you do is you enter your name, you enter your class, and there's a big drop down list here of all the classes, and then the books that you read, right? We'll keep it nice and simple. And then the number of minutes that you read that day. Okay. And then here are the bonus ballots. And grade 4 and 5, let's say grade 3 to 6, actually, I'm going to say that you folks can choose from either because you may find some ones here that work for you, and you may find some in the Big Kids one that works for you. Okay. So here is our choice board for our K to 4 bonus ballots. And then you just click on this to go to your bonus ballot page, and that brings you to Flipgrid. And there's a code, and the code is KP reads 123, and it's a big K and a big P. So I'm going to type it in here, KP reads 1, 2, 3. Now we have to do that one because again, it's very secure. Oh, come on. Okay, so I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna try it one more time. And then if not, I'm gonna fix that and KP reads 1, 2, 3. And then get you in. I think what's happening is I'm signed in as a different person right now. So what you're going to need to do is I'm going to have your teachers add this bonus Flipgrid activity each on their own. So that may not be up until Monday or Tuesday because we need to rest, but we can do that. So just do the activity and then we can add them later. Okay. And then you can also hand that activity right into your Google Classroom. And I can see if your teacher has added me to your Google Classroom. Teachers, I would love and appreciate if you could do that. And then I don't have to keep bugging you to add things. I can just do it on the library's behalf. If that's all right with you. And I promise not to put too many things up. But also that means that I can see all the ballots as they get handed in. That's probably the easiest way. You can put them on Flipgrid. That would be great. I can put them on Flipgrid for you, which is also great. And if you want, you can also just bring the paper or a picture or whatever you do down to the Library Learning Commons. And I love that low tech option because we can post them. We can hang up some of our entries, especially the really well done ones. So look at some of the options. Okay. It could be a picture of you reading with a book with a flashlight, reading a book you love, reading a book under a blanket, reading with a silly voice, maybe a video, read a book about zoo animals, read a short book, read a book to your stuffed animals. You get the idea. Read a book about bugs. So most of these you can just send Madame Horal a picture. And that's all you need to do, or hand it into your Google Classroom, which is the easiest thing, or print it off, right? And if you send it to me, I'll print it off. And there are some questions to ask that I'm going to say, I will give you a bonus ballot if you do this. You will get double for your ballot because these are very important. And I'll leave that to you and your family to read to keep this video kind of short. And then here is the big kid one, okay? And there's a little bit more details here. And I'm going to try, I don't think it's going to work actually. I'll fix it. So here are a bunch of things, and you'll see that I have borrowed this from somebody else because there's this person named Mrs. Woodcock here, but I can fix that. And there's just a bunch of different ideas for things that you can read there. Now, if there's something else in this that speaks to your heart, please go ahead and do that because you are most welcome to. Okay, so that's the readathon ballot. Back to our presentation. Okay, so there's the weekly draw, bonus ballots on Flipgrid, or all those other ways to hand it in. Here is the ways that this is what counts as reading. Okay, there's a bunch of different ways that you can read by yourself, and a lot of people have asked me, do graphic novels and audiobooks and comics count as reading? And I'm going to say yes, absolutely they do. Absolutely. Now, if you're reading other things like social media and texting with your friends, does that count at reading? Okay, I'm not really one to argue at this point that it is not reading because I actually believe it is reading. And I've seen it teach somebody who was older and was struggling with reading. They actually learned to read with texting with their friends, not social media, but reading the news and texting with their friends and family using prescriptive technology. So that is actually proven. It does work. However, for the purposes of this activity, we are into discovering books. So can you read them online or can you read them, read audiobooks? Absolutely. And I just want to quickly show you in here, and some of you have seen this before, there is an app in your Google Waffle called Sora. And in Sora, you have about 400 books already on your account. And those, we're reading Land of Stories at home. My kids listen to it over breakfast and they're obsessed. So you have about 400 books, 430 that you can access. So there's pretty good books. Diver Wimpy Kid, Ninja Bread Man, some really beautiful new books like A Scarf for Kiko. And let's see, I'm going to go to science because it is Earth Hour this weekend. And I also want to show you some of these are in Spanish and in other languages, other mostly because it's an American app. And so, but there are some other ones for World Water Day. We could maybe read Water Can Be. And there's a range of levels. So some of you who, oh, Every Last Drop is fantastic. I'm going to borrow that. Some of you who are older and who may be looking for access to these books, we have this in the library, by the way, this whole amazing series. But then look, you can read it online. Now, my friends, my daughter reads online every day for her school, and I'm going to tell you that I don't hate it because she gets access to a wide range of books, but I also don't love it because that girl has a lot of screen time in her life, more than I would like sometimes. And sometimes it is just nice to unplug, and it's important for your eyes and your brain. Okay. So I know at school we're not super unplugged or we're not super plugged in right now, but just keep that in mind, especially if and when you are ever working online, that a book in the hand with some low light or outside is really healthy for your mind. But before we switch back to our presentation, I want to show you that I have added my other library cards. So sometimes in the summer we visit Port Stanley, and so we have a library card there. And I love it because I can access the Ontario Library Service and all of their books as well. And you can also get that through the St. Thomas Public Library if you live in the south of London. But then our London Public Library has a wonderful, 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 wonderful range of really amazing books. And they're all on the Sora app. So all you do is you go to your Google Waffle, you type in your library card, which we did, and then look at this. We've got a million things that we are reading right now. Is that our shelf? There's more. That's weird. There's a whole bunch more, but you can put things on hold, which I find very, 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 very helpful. So I'm still waiting for class acts so that I can continue our presentation in school of that graphic novel. And then there's a whole bunch of other things here that are just so great. So yeah, please avail yourself of this. And if not, just check out these things here. Avail yourself means check it out. Okay, back to our presentation real quick. Uh, there we go. There we go. So yeah, that counts. Totally counts. What also counts is reading with someone. Okay. So parents, you can read to your kids, you're reading together, that counts. Talking about a book that you read together, that counts. Reading a recipe and making something tasty to eat, that counts. Older kids reading to a pet or a younger sibling, or younger kids reading to a pet or a younger sibling, or a stuffy, that counts. Okay, so get creative. Just because it's not on the choice board doesn't mean it doesn't count as reading. Okay, so there's your. I'm going to try one more time on our flip. No, I'm not. It's I gotta fix. Okay, so you can add your thing on Flipgrid, or again, you can hand it in. I just want to quickly talk to you about our Scholastic Book Fair. So the link is in the presentation. It starts online on March 29th. You can go to the link and browse the books, which is kind of nice, and I think you can see the prizes as well. And that is the link that will be live for our actual book fair. This is the last one, and it should, oh yeah, it should go to our new one. I need to fix that too. Sorry, folks. Um, our library receives 20% of every purchase, okay, and free shipping with purchases over $40 anytime. Now, Wednesdays is family night. Please keep in mind it's only from 6 to 8 p.m. So I kind of got burned on that one time when I ordered stuff during the day and then realized I had to wait and then totally forgot. So 6 to 8 p.m. is the time that you want your free shipping. And there are some promotional videos that I won't go through here. Maybe I'll show the Dogman one real quick that you can look through for some of the new books that are out. This one we just bought, and it's really awesome. It's a book called Allergic. And if you're a fan of Raina Telgemeier, or also the Babysitters Club. There's a new Babysitters Club, but Allergic is also super lovely. It's about a girl who has allergies. Okay. And then there's a new Geronimo Stilton. And then some of you need to branch out a little bit because you are Dogman obsessed. And so there's a new one here, and it's called Banana Fox and the Secret Sour Society. And it looks hilarious. Finally, for our older friends and younger friends, I just want to tell you that we are deep into our Forest of Reading program. So there's a bunch of videos that I have added here about the Forest of Reading books. That is a collection of books that children around Canada have chosen, actually, I think around Ontario, and they are really fantastic books. We basically every year there's a panel of students, and I'll get to that, who applies every year. The deadline is April 1st. You have to fill out a video, and you get to be an advanced reader. And then they send you a ton of books, brand new books that have not even, some of them not even been published or just published for free. And what you do is you read them. Now, they might be on loan, I'm not sure. And then what happens is you choose your favorite 10. And then the next year, okay, uh, and this is where we are now, all the libraries in Ontario that would like to sign up for this amazing program says, hey, there are some really fantastic books that you have chosen for us kids. And I want to show you that there's actually the blue spruce that I keep showing you is actually the that's the one for picture books, but there's a whole bunch and they're in French and English. Okay, so it's really wonderful. So I'm just going to run this while I'm talking to you about it. And some of you will have will you some of you will recognize some books that we have read together during our biblio book time every Friday, and as well that we may have read in the library together. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on reading them that way. I think it's probably the easiest way to get them out to everyone. And sometimes authors of these books read these books and for you and discuss them and do really cool activities, especially the illustrators. Sometimes they'll do a whole workshop on different ways that they practice. So it's really, really cool. And as you can see from these books, it is an absolutely stunning list of picture books. We're only about halfway through, and they're just so great. Oh, they're funny, they're bright, they're interesting, they're unique, and they're chosen by kids and teachers. And so we know that all of them are good. So typically, what happens is in a forest of, I'm going to go to the red maple because we're talking in English and all of the families. Um, so typically what happens is they're gauged by level. So blue spruce is kind of for primary, red maple is for junior and intermediate, and then there's also silver birch for junior and intermediate, and white pine for high school students. And we actually do have the white pine series. They deal with very serious topics this year. Some of them can be a little triggering, and so like this one is particularly it's fantastic. But they do deal with heavier subjects. And again, they are chosen by students, teachers, and librarians as the best books that have been published in the last couple of years. Okay. Safe Harbor, I just heard was very, very good from one of our Forest of Reading participants. It is not too late to join the Forest of Reading. However, typically what happens with this program is you need to read 5 of these books. You choose a group of books, right? A tree, basically, and you watch those books. You read those books from about February to about May, and so given the type of year that it is, I'm not asking you to choose a collection. I'm not asking you to commit 5. If you would like to participate and get access to these brand new books, you sign up and then you are our pre-readers basically, and you get to read them. And that is it. And I don't care what category it's in. If you find a book that you want to read, then you read it and you tell me about it. You rate it from 1 to 5 stars. And sometimes what I will ask you to do is a quick book talk on maybe on Flipgrid for our readathon, and just to get some kids thinking and seeing what else other folks are reading. And yeah, you do that. So Silverbridge Express are often nonfiction picture books. Some of them, this one is beautiful, very sad actually, but also funny, like Peter and Ernesto, and yeah, kind of goofy and sweet. So a nice range of books. And some of our grade 7 and 8 students are actually doing some really cool activities with these right now. So I'm excited to share that once that process is underway. Okay, so yeah, you choose 5 of these, you rate them 1 to 5, and then what happens is there's a huge ceremony at the end of May, beginning of June. And last year, because we were virtual, it was on the CBC, and it was quite a big thing. It's kind of like the Canada Reads program for adults. And I want to show you where's Silverbridge. I think I may have played Silverbridge, but I'm going to show it anyways. Um, just in case you didn't see it, because Silverbridge is usually the big one that everybody kind of falls in love with. I think I showed, but I'm going to show it again. So yeah, there's a big ceremony that the CBC shares. We are in the middle of reading this as well, and again, I have to kind of wait to see when I have the hard copy of a book, but I would like to share it, that one, the Barren Grounds, electronically. I will do book talks about these another time because they're all really fantastic books. And even if you're not a participant in the Forest of Reading, you can access these books and read them because we have them in our library. So even if you don't want to, read all five and commit to that, you can read one or you could just ask to borrow them. But the Forest of Reading Friends, you have priority. Okay, so you get access to these before anybody else. You can read them this spring. There are several folks who are reading them now. You join up, you rate them, and then we're going to have that ceremony at the end where we'll probably get some snacks and maybe either sit outside or in the library with Library Learning Commons, LENI, with our snacks and participate in this awesome ceremony. Okay. And maybe we can keep our masks on and not eat snacks, but do something else that's fun and cool. And yeah. So there's this. I want to go back real quick because I'm going to end and just say thank you for all of your support and participation this year. And yeah, happy reading. Open up a book. Let's get reading. And also for those who made it to the end of this, here's a little reward for you. This is Dave Pilkey, who is there's the book Fair Fairy, and he teaches you how to draw it. So what you can do is watch this on your own, but I wanted to show you that it's here. Okay, I'll leave that there for you. It's super fun. So teachers, you can go through this with your students if you like. There is you can see all the tabs open. That's my brain, folks. Um, there is a different range of books that I have previewed for the 5 to 8. So same information. I'm not going to go through that, but there are some other books here that I wanted to draw your attention to really quickly. So there is a new Wings of Fire in the book fair. There is a new I Survived. There's Ground Zero, which we already have copies of, and it's in circulation, but we will be buying more of that because everybody wants to read that. There's a new one from Gordon Corman, and Shoe Wars looks hilarious. I want to quickly play this for you. Just again saying you can branch out from Dogman. Dogman is awesome. I love Dogman, but it's a story about the Foot family and their friends, an evil villain and her son, and hundreds of crazy shoes. Okay, so there's a bunch of book trailers like that that I thought you would love. Here's another one that looks super cool. Seraphina and the Black Cloak. Can we make it big? We can. If you're little and watching this, don't worry, it's not spooky. It's just kind of a cool story. But you can only read this when you're older. Looks spooky, but looks like a really good book, actually. Right? Did you see that coming? Anyways, looks super cool. There's a whole bunch. So check these out. There's a whole bunch of book trailers. And yes, again, I just want to say thank you for joining me for this little foray into our book fest. And if you have any questions, just pop by the library or you can email me. The email is in that presentation. And for those who are sticking around for our bibliobook time, on va faire ça dans quelques minutes. OK? Merci les amis. Okay, bonjour les amis. Today we're going to do Wangari's Trees of Peace, a true story from Africa. And I might actually read a different book about this. Oh, am I playing it? Yes, I am. Okay, I'm going to start over. Bonjour tout le monde. Today we're going to read Wangari's Trees of Peace next. And this is a true story from Africa about a really amazing ecologist named Wangari Maathai. and we might read another one later. Okay, this story is by Jeanette Winter, and it's a short version, just because at this moment I'm going to get my kids ready soon. Wangari lives under an umbrella of green trees in the shadow of Mount Kenya in Africa. She watches the birds in the forest where she and her mother go to gather firewood for cooking. So this is a story about when she was a little girl, and often girls had to travel from far away to get the that firewood. And she helps harvest the sweet potatoes, sugarcane, and maize from the rich soil. Wangari shines in school, and when she grows tall, like the trees in the forest, she wins a scholarship to study in America. I love the illustrations in this book. I think I say that every week, but I do. 6 years later, her studies over, Wangari returns to her Kenya home and sees a change. What has happened? She wonders. Where are the trees? Wangari sees women bent from hauling firewood miles and miles from home. She sees barren land where no crops grow. And where are the birds? So this is a process called desertification, and this is part of it. Desertification is also about windstorms often in soil, and people with more science knowledge can explain it better than me, but that's my understanding. Thousands of trees have been cut down to make room for buildings, but no one planted new trees to take their place. Will all of Kenya become a desert, she wonders, as her tears fall. Wangari thinks about the barren land. I can begin to replace some of the lost trees here in my own backyard, one tree at a time. He starts by planting 9 seedlings. And if there is an adult listening to this, there's a beautiful book called The Overstory that I am just beginning right now. And it also tells the story of generations of families and through the trees that they plant. And it's absolutely stunning. Watching the seedlings take root gives Wangari the idea to plant more, to start a farm for baby trees, a nursery. In an open space, she plants row after row of the tiny trees. And we have organizations like Reforest London and the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority that can do that for you in your neighborhood. So get in touch with them. Next, Wangari convinces the village women that planting trees is a good thing. She gives one a seedling. Our lives will be better when we have trees again. You will see. We are planting the seeds of hope. And if there are any big kids listening, there's another book called Seeds of Hope, and there's an organization called Seeds of Hope, and I can share more about that. It's a really wonderful organization of mostly women planting trees and seeds and other things. The women spread out over their village, planting tiny trees in long rows, like a green belt stretching over the land. And that word belt is very important. The government men laugh. Women can't do this, they say. It takes trained foresters to plant trees. What I would say they are because of their work on the farms. The women ignore the laughter and they keep planting. Wangari pays them a small amount for each seedling still living after 3 months, their first earnings ever. This is the first time probably that they have their own money, right? And for all of you young folks out there, you know what a big thing that can be. Make sure to save some and make sure to donate or give some away, and then make sure to spend some wisely and maybe for fun, like books. Word travels like wind rustling through the leaves about the green returning to Wangari's village. Soon, other women in other villages and towns and cities in Kenya are planting long rows of seedlings too. But the cutting continues. Wangari stands tall as an oak to protect the old trees still remaining. We need a park more than we need an office tower. And if you notice, this image makes me think, I'm making a text to text connection to Greta and the Giants. The government men disagree. Wangari blocks their way, so they hit her with clubs. This is a true story. They call her a troublemaker and they put her in jail. And she still stands tall. Right is right, even if you're alone. But Wangari is not alone. Talk of the trees spreads all over Africa like ripples in Lake Victoria. More women hear the talk and plant even more seedlings in longer and longer rows. The seedlings take root and grow tall until there are over 30 million trees where there were none. 30 million trees. Okay, that's a lot of trees. The umbrella of green in Kenya returns. Women walk tall with their backs straight, for now they can gather firewood closer to home. They could also earn their own source of income, their own money, which is important in a family. The land is no longer barren. Sweet potatoes, sugarcane, and maize grow again in the rich red earth. The whole world hears of Wangari's trees and her army of women who planted them. And it's true, she's quite a remarkable human. And maybe I can find a video of Wangari Maathai to share with you as well. And if you were to climb up to the very top of Mount Kenya today, you would see the millions of trees growing below you and the green that Wangari has brought back to Africa. And then there's an author's note here I'll read a bit of. Wangari Maathai was born, well, maybe not. Actually, I'll wait. So people are fighting over water, over food, and we plant the seeds of peace, is what Wangari Maathai said. And so that is the story of Wangari Maathai. There are others that are really amazing, and thank you for listening to that with me today.